Okay, so this is my first vlog with the GH5 using the autofocus. And you know, I've been playing around with the autofocus. I recorded a few clips before I started this vlog just to test the autofocus, and it's better than the GH4. It seems like this camera is probably weak compared to the Canons and Sonys, doesn't have phase detection. But so far, for my purposes, it has been doing a pretty good job. I'm happy with it so far. Okay. So I have to stop the vlog right there, because when I took the files that I shot for the vlog and put them onto the computer, I realized that the GH5 did a really bad job with autofocus half of the time. Now most of the vlog is shot in broad daylight, so I had the aperture stopped down to anywhere between f11 and f22. So there's a really deep depth of field. I'm out in the daylight, so I couldn't really notice whether or not I was in focus. So when I got home, I saw that I wasn't in focus when I thought that I was. There are some shots that I'm talking, thinking that I'm in focus, when the whole shot I'm not in focus. You see, because I was in face detection autofocus, I saw this little box around my face. When I see the box around my face, I think, oh, the camera knows this is my face, and the camera will get me in focus for a second, and then I'll look at the lens, because I don't want to look at the screen like this and be all squint-eyed. So I look at the lens, thinking I'm in focus when I'm not. So the camera will get me in focus, and then I will drift to the background. And the background will be in focus, and maybe later I'll be in focus again, but it keeps wanting to drift to the background. So this is why I've taken so long to complete this vlog, because as I started editing, I'm like, oh, I look like an idiot. I keep saying I'm in focus. I keep saying how great the autofocus is doing when it's not doing a good job half the time. Anyway, back to the vlog. Anyway, we're gonna go out and have some lunch. I need some food. excuse me for being a bit weak today. I've got a bit of a stomach issue. I've taken the day off school. I'm a bit weak, but I am ready to get some food and some electrolytic fluid into my system. So let's go. Okay, so we're about to be on our way to get our turkey rice. Turkey rice is one of my favorite things to eat here in Taiwan. So hopefully it will help my stomach feel a bit better. Let's head out. My wife's riding. Scooters make a lot of sense in Taiwan because the traffic here is outrageous, and scooters are very practical. They go just the right speed for the traffic in Taiwan. They have this area in front where you can put groceries and things like that. So they're just very, very practical. Make a lot of sense. Almost there. The turkey place is very close to our house. So we're gonna pay the phone bill on the way. We're at the Zhonghua Dianxin, the place where you pay the phone bill. My wife's behind me, paying the phone bill. Okay, let's just do a little autofocus test while I'm waiting for my wife. So here's my face, background, there's my wife. The banyan tree there is the road by our house. Back to me. It looks like it's grabbing me pretty quick. Look, the aperture is at f7, so the depth of field is very, very deep at the moment. So do another test later. It's noisy.
我昨天还刚在练，你说你好久没来了。现在回去这么热。哦，是哦。
以前我们是那边，全部会常常经过。
哦，现在没有，比较少经过这边哦。哦，那在这边吃吗？
对。
好，那今天要吃什么？
火鸡肉饭好了，就是对加一些。
加肉吗？
对，加30克的肉。
哦，好。
然后一个荷包蛋。
好。
Okay. Okay, so our lunch has arrived. I've got some fun here because I've had a runny tummy and I need to replenish those electrolytes. I feel a bit weak, but not for long. That's the lovely turkey, vegetables. My wife's got fish. Oh, but I love turkey rice. Such good stuff. So that's the turkey place we just ate at, and that is my favorite turkey place in Tainan. Time to go to B&Q. It's really bright out here today. So we just got to the B&Q, feeling a little bit better after having had that fin and the turkey. It's given me a bit more energy. This rainy tummy really drained me, but feeling a lot better now. We're here at the B&Q because we want to look for some supplies for a short film that we're going to be making. That's B&Q. Let's go inside. So B&Q is kind of like Taiwan's version of Home Depot. Let's go find the wood. So we're looking at this wood because we want to make a, we want to make a crucifix. So if we take 2 of these and we cut the second one and we just nail it across here, we can make the crucifix. So that will cost us $5.80 just for the wood, but we still have to paint the wood to make it look like it's made from stone. So let's go find some paint. Maybe this one? More like stone? I don't know, maybe the light one. What do you think? Okay, so we're back from B&Q. My battery ran out at B&Q, and I've uploaded my YouTube video testing the manual focus for vlogging. This is testing automatic focus for vlogging. And because I've been sick today, I haven't really done much. So this is going to be a vlog that goes over the period of 2 days. I'm going to take the camera to school tomorrow and continue the autofocus vlog test at school tomorrow. But before I do that, a couple things I want to do. First, let's just check. I mean, so far today, compared to the GH4, I'm really happy with how well the GH5 has performed in autofocus. Okay, so let's just do a quick little test to see how well the autofocus does. Okay, I've got some pictures on the wall behind me. Took a while to focus. Back to me. Okay, and the focus is pretty good. So it's on face detection autofocus right now. And I found that it's doing a pretty good job of keeping focus. Okay, so let me just do something again. Get out of the frame. Back into the frame. It gets focus pretty quick. So I'm pretty happy with the way face detection autofocus has been performing for vlogging. Pretty happy with it. Okay, and I should say that I have been filming today's vlog with the Panasonic 14-140 zoom lens. It's the version 1, which is an f4 to f5.8. So it's not a great lens in terms of optics and image quality, but the long zoom range is very, very useful. It's an IBIS stabilized lens, so you'll have the dual stabilization with this lens. So it's a very useful lens, and it's a lens that I've come to really appreciate. I would love to get that new Leica 12-35 2.8 to 4 lens. A bit expensive, but I'd really like to get it. Hey, I think before I wrap up today's vlogging and continue tomorrow, let's go up onto the roof. Check that out. Okay, so I'm here on the roof. It's a good place to watch the sunset. You get a good view of the city from the roof over here, but you have to climb this ladder. That ladder over there. You got to open up a hatch and climb up the ladder to get onto this roof. Let me show you around. It's not very big. It's got the solar panels there. The hot water gets heated by the sun via the solar panels and everything else, and that's where the water goes. That's where the water's stored. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, good place to watch the sun go down. So that's the sunset right there. One thing I really like about using the Voigtlander Noctong lens is if I have to change exposure, I have the aperture ring right here on the lens. It's silent and you can very quickly rack the exposure. So it's, you know, I really actually miss the manual focus lens from yesterday, but at the same time I really love this automatic focus. It's doing a really good job. It's doing a really good job. But yeah, I think I'm pretty much done here. That's the drone over there right above me. Well, let's enjoy a little bit of sunset footage.你，我要问你一个问题，你长大的时候，你要去哪一个国家旅行？
日本。
然后你们？Where do you want to go?
不来说说。
You want to go to USA and you? Where do you want to go?
可以介绍。
你要去哪里旅行？哪一个国家
The USA.
USA? How about you? Where do you want to go?
你好。
USA? 你们知道我是从哪里来的吗？我是哪里人？
非洲人，英国、台湾。
你怎么知道我是非洲人？
你是非洲？
对啊。
看不出来，看不出来。
非洲也有白人啊，你不能从外表看。
刚刚我问老师了。
真的，我是南非人啊。
我们踢球也有一个人叫南非人。
真的。Okay, so this is to test the GH5's stabilization.
School. Alright. This is my magic box. 我们要轻轻的摸它 ，gently touch it, OK？ 然后跟我说哈利路亚。哈利路亚。哈利路亚。哈哈哈。好，来再一次哦。哈利路亚，哈哈哈。哈利路亚。OK。哈利路亚。哇，没有高下，我先拿出第一个魔法的道具。
我没有高到一包，
哇 ，This is my car, coffee car.
好，这里那个杯子
好普通哦。This is a magic cup. It can fly.
它可以
飞起来。只要你们一起跟我说哈利路亚，哈哈哈，它就会飞起来了。
哈利路亚，哈哈哈。
哦。
你的手，
大拇哥就可以把它吸住了。再一次，跟我说哈利路亚，哈哈哈。哈利路亚。
Well, I don't look very good. So Chen, what do you think about today? Do you think today was a success?
Yes, it's a successful day, and it's happy.
Whew.
But I haven't had.
But we both a bit tired. Maybe the pollution. I did have a runny tummy.
Kind of a virus.
I had a runny tummy. Maybe you got my runny tummy virus. Anyway, time to pack up. Go back to the van. Good day. Okay, so the screen is upside down again as I'm doing this vlog because it's broken. I really have to send it back. It's frustrating. I can't believe I got a model with a broken screen. But we're on our way back from a day of teaching in the van. I had to kind of like adjust the exposure as I was turning the lens because obviously it's much brighter on the outside than the inside. So it might be a little bit dark right now. One thing I found is, there you go, that's a bit better. One thing I found is that vlogging with a manual lens with an aperture ring on the lens is really useful for those kinds of shots where I have to move the camera and change exposure, because it's a stepless aperture ring, so I can move the camera, change exposure smoothly. Having to do it with the dial on the camera is actually quite tricky. So I'm actually surprised at how successful I was doing the vlogging using manual focus lenses. I really like vlogging with manual focus lenses. Yeah, we're just back. Hi, we're just back at school. Yeah. Wish you have a nice day. Okay, so some kids behind me are playing tennis. I want to test the 180 frames per second function of the camera, so I'm going to shoot some slow motion of the kids playing tennis. Let's see how it looks. So now I'm walking around the neighborhood by my house, and I'm going to test two things quickly. I want to test the autofocus. It's currently in face detection. If I haven't mentioned already, I'm using the 14-140 first generation lens. Anyway, okay, so this is me. This is my alley. Back to me. Okay, so I've been lucky so far to have it perform pretty well. I saw a video today, really cool YouTuber, I like his stuff a lot. He decided to send, with the flip of a coin, send his GH4 back because not only the autofocus, which is not a deal breaker for me, I didn't really mind too much about that, and so far it's way better than the GH4, better than what I'm used to, but for him it was the stabilization, so I want to do a test of that right now. Sorry for being out of the frame there. The screen is upside down. Anyway, stabilization test now. Okay, so I was looking for that left and right motion, because in his test the stabilization there was a left and right motion when he was walking, compared to the GH4, which does not have any sense of stabilization. It's obviously much better. So coming from the GH4, I'm pretty happy. Maybe because I have low expectations, I don't know, but anyway, seems okay to me. Let's get back home. So a lot of my neighbors like to gossip and they aren't very friendly towards me. That one I just showed you, she's an exception. She's lovely. You know, I started out always greeting all of my neighbors, being super nice, but my watch. But I found way darker inside the house. But I found that, let me boost up the ISO. But I found that, you know, I kept greeting them, hello, hello, and they would just ignore me. Or some of them were just like, they would gossip about me, so kind of stopped greeting them. But there are a couple of neighbors that would always be very nice to me, and that one, she's one of them, always very nice. Okay, so what is the final conclusion of using the GH5 with continuous autofocus? Well, right now I have the camera set to face detection. I see the box around my face, and I have the custom settings set to off. Because just as I finished editing up this video, I saw the results of Max and Photo Joseph's test of the GH5's autofocus. Definitely check that out. It's a very comprehensive review of using the GH5 in a variety of different situations. And it was recommended that for vlogging, it's actually best to leave the custom set to off. So that's the setup that I've got right now. Custom set to off, face detection. I see the square. It looks as though I am in focus. So let's see how this performs. Hopefully this will be the best performance for vlogging. Anyway, do I recommend the GH5 for autofocus? Well, looking at my edit, I would say yes and no. It really depends on the situation. If you absolutely need it to be in continuous and you want it to be reliable in a whole variety of unpredictable kind of circumstances like an event, I would say that it's not a good choice. It's just not reliable enough yet, but maybe for certain situations. For example, for vlogging, if you use tap to focus, you tap the screen or you tap the shutter, it's definitely very usable. You can use it for vlogging in that way. You can just go to the background, tap the shutter. You see, a lot of the tests have been not tapping the shutter, not tapping the screen, just relying on the autofocus. If you rely 100% on the autofocus, it might not be reliable. But if you help the camera by tapping the shutter or tapping the screen, it's definitely very usable for vlogging and for other situations. I think that's the key. The autofocus is not as strong, nowhere near to being as strong as the Sonys and especially Canons, so you have to help it along. So I've noticed that Casey Neistat has started to use the GH5 for vlogging, which is great because it's a great camera. It's got a really great flip out screen, which is important for vlogging. It's a nice size, the lenses are light and affordable, good quality. And you know, if you just help the camera along, if you work with the camera, you can get really good results. So it's still a great camera for vlogging. Another solution would be to put continuous autofocus off and then just tap to focus wherever you want to focus. Just tap on the screen and it will focus, and you'll be sure that the focus will stay locked. There'll be no pulsing, and that's a really great thing to do, not only for vlogging, but if you are a one-man band doing videos for YouTube, you can use the really great Panasonic app. You can have the image on your phone, put on a tripod, and then you can just tap to focus on the screen with continuous autofocus off, and then wherever you want to focus while you're doing your video, you just use the app to control where you want to focus. So that's another solution that was pointed out in the comments section. I actually first heard about it on Peter Gregg's YouTube channel. Check out Peter Gregg's videos, they're really cool. I hadn't seen any of his videos for a long time. I saw a video of his on the Voigtlander lens, the same lens that I use for my manual focus vlog test, my previous video. But I checked out his autofocus videos and I love it. When you go to his channel, he has this like message that comes up, which I kind of thought was weird in the beginning. And the message is, if you watch a Peter Gregg video, you'll feel warm and happy inside. I'm like, whoa, this is kind of strange, like a subliminal message kind of thing. But you know, when I watched his video, I did kind of feel warm and happy inside. So I think whatever he's doing is working. I should probably do that for my videos too. When you watch a Bamboo J video, you will feel warm and happy inside. Is it working? No, I don't think it's working. I don't think it's a thing that does it. I think it's because Peter Gregg's cool presentation makes you feel warm and happy inside. Anyway, Peter Gregg's videos are really cool. Definitely check him out. So once again, definitely check out the Max and Photo Joseph test for autofocus, the recent video that they posted. And also, very interestingly, Panasonic has released an official statement via Photo Joseph. And in their statement, they say for 60p, 30p, 24p, basically any major frame rate, they suggest using single point focus. Single point focus will probably give you the most accurate result, but then you have only a single little point to have your subject be in that point in order to get focus. You have to work with this little point, and the subject may leave the range of that point. But that's what they recommend, single point. And you can, as I said earlier, even use single point with continuous autofocus off and then just control the focus through the screen or through the app. You could always focus manually. The focus peaking on the GH5 is fantastic. And remember, you know, I bought the GH4 knowing that the focus is not good. People bought the GH5 knowing that it's still contrast detection autofocus. It's just the way the Panasonic reps sold the camera. People started to have hope, myself included, that the autofocus is going to catch up to the competition. That's why this whole drama unfolded. But like Blackmagic cameras, you don't really get the camera for the autofocus. You use manual focus for for cinema cameras, and the GH5 is no exception. Having said that, autofocus has become something that is in demand. It's a very, very useful tool. And I'm very glad that Panasonic, at the end of their official statement, did say that they are dedicated to improving their autofocus system. With the firmware update, a lot of things could be improved. Like face detection seems to do better with custom off, but with custom on, maybe there's something that they can fix in the software. I find that with face detection and even with the 225 point autofocus, the focus keeps wanting to drift to the background. Either the background will pulse or it will focus on the background or drift to the background. So this might be something that can be fixed in the software. If the software can prioritize the subject that's closer to the lens rather than prioritizing, always looking, always drifting, always wanting to find something else to focus on. It's always looking somewhere else. Just prioritize the subject that's closer to the lens. You see the box around the face. Like when I was pulling focus during my vlog, I saw the box, I thought I was in focus, but then I find out later on that I'm not always in focus, because you'll look at the box, you'll see, oh, I'm in focus, then you'll look at the lens, because you don't want to be looking at the screen the whole time, you look or squint, you want to be looking at the lens. So if they get the box that shows they know where the face is, they should be able to also have focus. So hopefully there are things that can be fixed in the firmware. The pulsing problem might to some extent always be there because of the contrast detect, I don't know, but I hope that Panasonic can fix as much as is possible. Anyway, autofocus is still usable in certain situations. I don't know how this has been looking right now. As I said, it's currently set to face detect with custom set to off, which is what Max and Photo Joseph found to be more reliable to give the best results. So that's what I'll be using. In certain situations, the 225 point works great. If there's sports, that works great. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of options in the camera. There's still a lot of stuff to discover. Panasonic's also come to the table wanting to improve things. So there is definitely hope with autofocus, but we've spoken about autofocus as much as we can. Enough with that. Also, the stabilization in the camera. Looking at the footage, firstly, the stabilization works really great. With my manual lenses, when I did the manual focus vlog test, so much better than the GH4. I mean, so smooth. You can get such smooth, almost like steady cam, stabilizer, gimbal-like shots. If you use your body to buffer the camera, you get such smooth shots, such smooth pans and tilts. But the way the stabilization performs when you're walking forward does have an issue. There's a left-right swaying action going on. It's not a huge deal. It can probably be corrected in post. It's still better than the GH4, but it's something that I do hope that Panasonic can fix. It might be a firmware upgrade fix as well. I'm hoping for that as well. So in closing, the GH5 is still a fantastic camera, full of features. The focus peaking is fantastic. Manual focus is fantastic. It's a great camera for manual focus. Great camera for autofocus for stills. It's a great stills camera. And the autofocus for video has problems. It's unreliable, but there is potential for it to be fixed. And in certain situations, it's not too bad. It's not that bad. Again, it's way better than the GH4. So this has been a long one. Sorry it took so long to edit. You know, I kind of looked at the footage. I felt like an idiot because it wasn't in focus. I wanted to do more tests. So I spent another day using the 225 point autofocus. Had mixed results with that. After this video came out from Max and Photo Joseph, I have it now set to custom off. And hopefully this will be better. When it works, it's great. It's just not always reliable. But like Max says, he's now come to think that it could be usable. So would I use the autofocus in this camera? Yes, I would in certain situations. For vlogging, for casual shooting, if there's sports, family video, if there's sports and I just don't have time to pull manual focus and I have to get the shot immediately, I might use it in those situations. The thing is, it's not, at this point, 100% reliable. So if you want 100% reliable focus, it's better to use a camera with better continuous autofocus like a Sony or a Canon. Canon's the best, it seems, or to focus manually. But it's not as terrible as a lot of people are making it out to be. And I am still very happy with the camera. It's fantastic for manual focus. The peaking is great. Anyway, be sure to subscribe. I have a lot of videos coming up. I have a video testing the 180 frames per second. When I got my GH4, that was one of the first videos I did. There'll be a link up here that you can check out. But I really love the slow motion, so I can't wait to make a beautiful video dedicated to that. Plus, there'll be videos on the best manual lens options for the GH5, the best settings to get the most dynamic range out of your camera, something I experimented with my GH4, using non-vlog profiles. I really want the vlog, but I hate that you have to pay for it and have it sent over. It's one thing that Panasonic really should. They should just give it to us for free. Come on, just give us vlog like everyone else. But I also want to explore the other picture profiles. This whole vlog was shot in standard. The standard profile looks pretty good. And it seems funny that the default settings in the camera are pretty good. I mean, don't turn custom autofocus on. The standard profile is pretty good. Sometimes with these cameras, just straight out of the box seems to do best. But I'm gonna explore the different profiles. And I have a bunch of other videos on the GH5, so be sure to subscribe for all of those. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now. Bye. Ooh, taking a while to focus. There it is. And back. Okay, yeah. Better with custom AF off.